Good afternoon. On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. This great nation with our friends and allies will not rest until we bring them all to justice. Thanks to our military and our allies and the brave fighters of Afghanistan, the Taliban regime is coming to an end.
The war in Afghanistan that began after the U.S. was attacked on September 11th, 2001, goes on today.
Yeah, this is the longest war in American history.
The U.S. war in Afghanistan has been going on for nearly 16 years. President Trump has so far rejected the proposals from his national security advisor for the next steps there.
Those sources say the president lashed out, suggesting Mattis should fire the general in charge of Afghanistan, venting, quote, "We aren't winning."
A military plan for Afghanistan has been delayed for months amid sharp disagreements in the White House between the president's top advisors.
I think any American, left, right, or center, wants to figure out a way to put an end to the war in Afghanistan.
Prince's plan? Use military contractors instead of U.S. troops for a variety of unspecified missions in Afghanistan.
Private military company, a PMC, is private companies taking on roles that have traditionally been done by the military and intelligence agencies, by the broader national security complex.
A private military company, to me, is a company that is prepared to carry out full-on offensive military operations under a contract. You pay us a load of money and we will help you win your war.
The international private military industry has been exploding over the last 20 years.
A number of countries began to downsize their military forces and therefore, laid out people. And these people naturally had to find a market for themselves. And they came up with a private military company. Soldiers who were serving in the military either resigned or deserted to join private military companies because what they paid them on a daily basis was much more than what armed forces officially paid them.
So I left the army because the money wasn't good enough for what I was getting paid to do. Why would I do 5 years in Iraq in the army and earn 120 grand when I can do 2 years in Iraq and earn 400 grand?
These guys are fighting for money. They're not fighting for the state. They're not fighting out of a sense of duty or patriotism.
Certainly in my era, anybody who was any good in the army isn't in the army anymore.
There are certain things that armies have to do and a way of doing them that should not be in the private sector. When it gets serious is if you get a PMC that starts to get excessively muscular.
It was one of the worst killings of innocent civilians by U.S. contractors in Iraq, and a huge blow to America's efforts to stabilize the country. On September 16, 2007, security personnel working for the company then called Blackwater opened fire at Baghdad's Nisour Square, killing more than a dozen.
A federal appeals court has thrown out the first-degree murder conviction of an American security contractor in the killing of 14 Iraqi civilians in Baghdad back in 2007.
Less than a year after the Nisour Square massacre, the State Department renewed Blackwater's contract to protect diplomats in Iraq for another year. Blackwater's top commander in Iraq said that he would simply kill anyone investigating his company.
Eric Prince is founder of what was once the security firm Blackwater. He wants to send about 5,000 private military contractors to replace troops helping the Afghan army.
Prince considered himself a Christian crusader who truly believed that he was personally tasked by God to eliminate Muslims and the Islamic faith from the globe.
We were mischaracterized as out-of-control mercenaries. And the fact is we were American veterans serving America again, getting paid on a competitively bid contract. Full stop. We did exactly the job the U.S. government hired us to do.
You have to wonder if the next military superpower won't be a country, but a corporation.
I think the PMC of the future can manipulate governments. We're at a stage now that I think it can happen.
It appears that these contractors literally may be able to get away with murder.